There are so many differences between this Cornell basketball team and this Kentucky basketball team. Senior leadership versus freshman talent, tradition on the court versus tradition in the classroom, you can go on and on. But one similarity is that over the past 3 years, both teams had a guy named Mark Curry on their roster. Slope Day weekend, a weekend marked by celebrating the end of another year of classes here at Cornell, a celebration in which the lacrosse team continued by defeating Harvard to win this year's Ivy League lacrosse tournament. The Big Red also set history by becoming the first Ivy team to go 8-0 in conference play. After the game, Coach Courtney said that the most important thing for this team is that they were playing the best basketball at the end of the season. This was clearly the case, as Coach Courtney added that this is a game that Cornell would not have won 3 weeks ago. Mike Krzyzewski has been roaming the Duke sidelines for 30 years. In that time, he's taken the Blue Devils to 10 Final Fours, winning 3 national championships. However, the current senior class has not been part of any of these teams. The whole Blue Devil team knows that the sense of urgency to live up to the Duke legacy is upon them. Midnight Madness, a tradition started by Maryland's Lefty Drysdale in 1971, when his Terps started the season at 12:03 a.m. in front of 3,000 fans. This tradition, which has since been adopted around the country, has evolved to include slam dunk contests, elaborate player introductions, and just utter madness. But for the 3-time defending Ivy League champs, it's just another day on the court, all business. After defeating Harvard to win this year's NCAA lacrosse tournament, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of who. Cornell found out tonight that they will be the number 2 seed taking on Hartford in this year's NCAA lacrosse tournament as they look to work towards their first national championship since 1977. At first glance, the building behind me looks like just another rundown house in College Town, right off the campus of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. But what's inside separates it from its surroundings. The tenants are more than friends or even best friends, they're teammates. The 14 non-freshman members of the Cornell men's basketball team living under one roof, forming a unique bond which transfers to the court.
I think it kind of started before our senior class actually got here. I think a lot of it has to do with recruiting and bringing in the similar type of guys who kind of value the same things.
After freshman year, it was kind of just a given that we were all going to live together. They were our best friends. We spent all of our time together.
It just kind of came to a reality where we found a house that could fit us all.
Since it's sincere and they really want to, live together, I think it's been a great thing for our program.
You can't really force chemistry. It's just a matter of 13, 14 guys coming together who really happen to get along well naturally.
As a coach, if you orchestrated that, it probably wouldn't work out. They'd probably hold it against you.
I know, a few guys on other teams, and no one else has heard of teams doing this kind of thing.
It definitely is unique. The guys that I talk to that I've played with teams before in high school and stuff like that, when I tell them we all live together in one big house, they have no idea how we do that.
We got 2 round 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Me and Jeff Wood actually played on the summer league team in Minnesota, and there were two guys who played on the same college team, and they asked if we were roommates, and I'm like, well, yeah, actually our whole team's roommates, and they're like, well, whoa, no wonder you guys made it to the tournament. That's just kind of unfair chemistry right there.
We're able to laugh on the court together with each other, from jokes that might not happen in the locker room or on the court. It could be in the house, and so it kind of brings us together on the court as well, and it makes college basketball that much more fun.
I think there's a connection there that they communicate very well verbally and non-verbally because they see each other, they get along so much. I think it's made us a much better basketball team in every aspect.
It's kind of weird that we spend so much time together on the court and we go home and just see each other all the time, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
The chemistry that this Cornell team has created off the court has resulted in great success for this Big Red team, as the Red have only dropped 1 home game in the past 2 seasons. Now Cornell will put their bond to the test in a new location as they look to pick up the school's first ever NCAA tournament victory. For ESPNU's Campus Connection, I'm Jake Mastbaum. Clark, let's get right into it. We got a very interesting 12-5 matchup here. Cornell-Temple, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, when I saw the bracket come out, Jake, I was really excited about the matchup. Didn't know I was going to be assigned to do it, which made it even more intriguing and special. But both of these teams are outstanding.
Yeah, I've heard you and your players say that there's no game tougher than an Ivy League road game. No one plays you harder, no one guards you tougher. You guys dropped 3 of those last year. How do you prepare for the rest of the Ivy League games this year, knowing that every team wants to be the one to dethrone Cornell?
I think that's a great point.
You talked to all these Cornell players and asked them when was the first time that they knew this was a special group that had the capabilities of making a run like they had so far in this tournament, and they all point to January 6th, 2 years ago, when they went down to Cameron, hung with you guys. I think it was about an 8-point game with about 4 minutes left. You were on the court. What were your thoughts about this Cornell team when you played them?
Well, we knew they were really good, and Cornell has had a great opportunity to grow up together.
But what's so different about the Ivy League this year than in past years?
Well, they've got a national profile.
You look at your non-conference schedule, and the most glaring thing is the close games. 6 out of the 10 losses in the non-conference schedule by 5 points or less. And as a coach, how do you really analyze that and get over that hump as you move forward?
Well, you go back to the film and see what you did right and wrong. And as a coach, you're always trying to improve.
Jeff, Cornell dominant in their first 2 games in the NCAA tournament. What have you seen from this team so far?
Well, obviously these guys have experience now. I think they go out there knowing they can win.
Cornell trying to make it 2 straight as they travel to Big East country to battle the Seton Hall Pirates. Not Cornell's best shooting performance as they started the game 0 of 8 from deep. Aaron Osgood sees the graphic at the bottom of your screen and says not today as he connects from behind the arc, the first 3 of his college career. More on his night later. But this game was all Seton Hall. The Pirates won the rebounding battle 46-29. Here, an offensive rebound and putback by point guard Jordan Theodore to put Seton Hall up by 11. We pick up the action early in the second half with Cornell again looking to Aaron Osgood for offense. The bucket and the foul here, Osgood had a career-high 19. But Seton Hall kept putting the pedal to the metal. Jeff Robinson with the easy putback. He was one of 4 Pirates in double figures. He had 16. Later, the play of the game as Herb Pope does his best Ben Roethlisberger impression, yet he's from right outside of Pittsburgh, hooking up with Jeremy Hazel for the flush. Hazel had a game-high 28, and that was all she wrote. Seton Hall knocking Cornell to 1-1 with a 92-68 victory in their home opener. The season that Lewisdale had was really overshadowed by that of Ryan Whitman, by Jeff Foote, by all the storylines around Cornell, and maybe by his slow start in non-conference play. If you just look at the 14-game Ivy League schedule and look at Lewisdale's numbers, they were better than his numbers the year when he won Ivy League Player of the Year. I'm looking at this game, and I'm kind of going to take a different approach than you just did right here, Sam. I know Cornell has slipped a little bit. They're not the team they were last year and the year before, but don't think this Harvard team and these Harvard coaches have forgotten about the past. There's still a bullseye on Cornell's back. They're still circled on the schedule. Don't think that Harvard's forgotten about the Alex Tyler miracle of 2008. Don't think this Harvard team has forgotten about the 36-point beating that was put on them in Newman Arena last year. Well, the one thing about Wisconsin is that they just don't turn the ball over. Against Wofford yesterday, they only had 4 turnovers. Wisconsin has the least amount of turnovers per game in the country. For me, it boils down to one thing, a sense of urgency. The Princeton players, Kareem Maddox and Dan Mavrades, are both seniors. This is their last chance to do it. You saw what the sense of urgency meant for Cornell last year with all the seniors on that squad. Harvard, no seniors on that roster. Everyone's coming back. They're going to have another chance to do it. Harvard may very well win because they're a talented team, but I'm going with Princeton. Here in the mecca of college basketball, Madison Square Garden. From the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, from Levian Gymnasium, from the NCAA tournament in Syracuse, New York, from Showcroft Field, from the first round of the NCAA tournament in Jacksonville, Florida, from the Palestra, from Newman Arena in Ithaca, New York, I'm Jake Mastbaum, Slope TV.